Papa, I see you, boy.
YouTube, what up? Right now we got She Wants to Ruin Anthony Edwards' life. Shout out to the Flight Mike. I know what this shit gonna be about. I was gonna make my own like little video on it, but I really ain't feel like it. You know, I really feel like doing all the editing, which I need to get out the I need to stop being lazy to that part. And just, you know, but I'll get to that. But for the most part, we already know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? OnlyFans model, whatever the fuck, Instagram model, whatever label we want to get on her, got pregnant, and Anthony Edwards, he should have called her when she first said that she was pregnant. He should have called her or pull up on her. We wasn't gonna be able to pull up on her because he a busy man, but he should have got on the phone with her. And, you know, had a conversation. Instead, he texting, that leaves a paper trail, and you know now she exposed the nigga. You know, well, not exposed, but exposed the situation. You know what I'm saying? Send the video. But now I'm gonna hear what bro got to say, and I'm just gonna. I really just want to make my points on it, but we're gonna go there and see what bro got to say about it as well. So let's get to it.
Anthony Edwards is playing out publicly on social media.
After a woman accuses him of paying her to get into comments in the heat of the moment that are not me, that are not aligned with what I believe and who I want to be as a man.
Oh boy, Anthony Edwards most definitely doesn't want you to see this video. He doesn't want you to see any of this, none of these messages or anything of that. As a matter of fact, if Anthony Edwards had it his way, none of this information would have ever gotten out. Unfortunately for Anthony Edwards, his private messages got leaked out to the entire world to see because he hasn't learned the age-old lesson that I really wish athletes would learn. You might be wondering,
well, Mike, if he doesn't want us to see this content, why are you making videos on it?
Well, because once private information gets tens of millions of views, it's not so
Okay.
MVP candidate. He was considered to be one of the most marketable stars in the NBA. This is their second year in a row where they're $700 off of a ban. I swear, prize picks for the spot consistently over the past few years. Finally, did what needed to be done to become second in the Western Conference. I mean, Ja Morant was an MVP candidate. He was considered to be one of the most marketable stars in the NBA. This is their second year in a row where they were able to achieve this feat. It seemed like nothing was able to stop the Memphis Grizzlies. The problem was the Memphis Grizzlies were a very young and fairly immature team.
They ain't have enough vets around, which they do now, but now they don't just need just vets in general. They need valuable vets. They can actually make a difference on the so we gonna see when Ja comes back, but
don't get me wrong, there were talented players on this team. Dillon Brooks was establishing himself as an enforcer.
And I hate how they did Dillon Brooks, man. So that's why I'm glad he was able to hit like a crucial clutch shot against them on their home court. Kind of like a fuck you, even though they gave him a tribute video. But we all know how they did that nigga, man. As soon as the playout was, as soon as they got eliminated, they're like, Dillon Brooks is not coming back whatsoever. Like, damn, my nigga, like, you know, that's crazy.
Of the team, he had this little cute beef with Draymond Green. Ja Morant had a very legitimate claim to win NBA MVP, and then they got in their own way. Ja Morant started taking out guns on social media. I mean, excuse me, taking out toy guns on social media. They would get knocked out in the first round by
which is not against the law, but you know, it's just the image about it. You know what I'm saying?
Los Angeles Lakers, and then he would get himself into trouble again. They would trade Dillon Brooks because Dillon Brooks liked poking bears.
Poke bears. I don't respect no one until they come and give me 40.
And as a result of losing Dillon Brooks and trading Tyus Jones for Marcus Smart and not having Ja Morant, the Memphis Grizzlies are closer to getting a top 3 pick in this year's NBA draft.
Yes, they should. Because when Ja come back, which he's coming back tonight, which I'm going to watch, we'll say they do make it to the playoffs. They're going to be playing the Nuggets, the Timberwolves. They don't want to see them in the first round with the team they got orchestrated right now. I believe Ja Morant could get them in the play in and into the playoffs, but y'all might as well just get a lottery pick and trade that lottery pick for a superstar. I mean, that's what I'll do, but we will see. What y'all think about that?
Western Conference like they were over the past.
Because Ja Morant already is not going to be an All-NBA player because of the suspension, but you were supposed to be an All-NBA player last year, but because of that first suspension, they said, okay, you ain't gonna be a part of the team. Nigga, he should have been at least second team All NBA last season. Swear to God, can't nobody argue me with that. This nigga was averaging like 27, 7, and 5.
2 years. The point being that it's really nice to see these young teams begin to dominate, but it's really unfortunate if they get in their own way. This year's dominant young team is none other than the Minnesota Timberwolves, a surprise story that none of us were expecting. The Minnesota Timberwolves are the top team in the West and have as many losses as the Boston Celtics. The Rudy Gobert trade finally paid off. The rebuild that has been going on for over a decade is finally over, and this is primarily because, well, all these young players finally learned how to play together. Karl Anthony Towns has a brand new focus on defense. Rudy Gobert seems more like a defensive captain than an offensive liability. Him and Mike Conley picked up where they left off in Utah. And most importantly, the team's star player, Anthony Edwards, is playing like a bona fide superstar after a new fire was lit within him following his summer for Team USA. He's averaging 24 points off of 40% shooting from 3. He has a box plus minus of 2.9. The Minnesota Timberwolves, for the first time in over 15 years, have actually become a dominant force in the Western Conference. And that is no small feat or no small achievement. But, like the Memphis Grizzlies, they're in danger of getting in their own way. Anthony Edwards is without a doubt one of my favorite athletes in the NBA, primarily because of how outspoken he is. I mean, his interviews are always instant classics. Remember this?
Where you from, Jim? I like your accent. It's tough. I want to learn how to talk like that. But ask your question again. I was too much listening to your accent.
Or what about this moment?
And I had to get Popeyes after the game.
Where do Popeye's fries rank?
Fries, they top 4. They top 4. They top 4.
Awesome. Thanks, Ann. Appreciate your time.
I want to thank Snap Sports. Without this, wouldn't be possible. Appreciate you guys very much.
Man, Shaq old as fuck.
And probably my favorite interview of all is this one interview he had.
Sounds like you're just an athlete.
Oh God, I already know what this is.
Okay, ping pong, baseball, football, basketball.
Tennis, swimming, lacrosse, whatever you need me to play, I'm going to go do it. If it's some money on the line, I'm going to go do it.
Can you golf?
Whatever you need me to do.
Okay. Hockey.
Whatever on the ring, whatever you need me to do, it don't matter.
Got it.
Trash can ball, we can do whatever you want.
Trash can
Cook
ball.
food.
You can go pro.
Cook food. That's something to do. I bet I'll be A1 from day one.
The guy is charismatic. The guy is good at basketball. The guy has a killer mentality. People were saying that he was one of Michael Jordan's long-lost children, which I guess is the new trend. Anytime a basketball player is starting to play out of his mind, we just
Oh God.
MJ's long-lost child.
Oh God, I don't know why motherfuckers be saying that shit.
Also just 22 years old. And when you're 22 years
Crazy.
old and you're making the amount that Anthony Edwards is making, which he recently agreed to a 5-year contract extension that could reach $260 million, that comes with a lot of additional responsibility. So if you remember, in the summertime, we made a video that's similar to this about the #1 overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft, the draft before Anthony Edwards, where Zion Williamson got into some trouble with a woman that he allegedly...
Look, I'm gonna go ahead and say what I need to say, man. You know, y'all can fuck the OnlyFans models and porn stars or whatever the fuck every blue moon, but don't be fucking these hoes raw, man. Use protection. I know it'd be tempting. They probably be going crazy. I mean, they live for that. They live for the bedroom. They go crazy. It's their profession. So I can't imagine. But nigga, wrap it up, nigga. It ain't worth it, man. Ain't worth it, man. Cause you know they after that bag, man. Man, fuck all that. I ain't asked for your money, man. You know what the fuck going on. You might not want that 100K, but you want a part of that 250 contract. Nigga, stop, man, that shit crazy.
He had an entanglement with, and that became a whole situation, made its way to social media, became a huge headache, and at the time my takeaway was strictly that athletes need to be careful with who they get involved with romantically. I mean, the blueprint for success in the NBA has already been laid out. If you want to make sure that women don't distract you when you're in the NBA, you have to marry your high school or college sweetheart. Some examples of this happening successfully successfully is Kobe Bryant, although, of course, we know that there were stuff that happened between Kobe and Vanessa.
I really still ain't forgave Vanessa. 'Cause I remember as a kid, like, Ricky Smiley show, they used to talk about Kobe shit. I used to be like, man, fuck Vanessa. Even as a little boy, when I hearing that show on the radio, I hated her ass. I still never kind of forgave her for that shit, but you know.
Years past, Steph Curry and Ayesha Curry, which I know there are stories.
I don't like Ayesha for that bullshit she said about she feel like she don't get enough attention from niggas out. You know what I'm saying? Like it really be crazy, man. You know. Luckily, I got a solid one, but man, these motherfuckers, man, these hoes be some fucking clowns. I swear to God.
I swear to God. Is LeBron and Savannah James. I mean, LeBron literally has this one viral moment where he runs the wrong way on an escalator to avoid groupies that are chasing after him. That is the mentality you need to have once you make $260 million over 5 years. And unfortunately, a lot of these athletes don't learn this until later on in their career. When they're young and they're naive, they have this huge target painted on their back, because if a woman has a child with a multi-millionaire like Anthony Edwards, then her life is set. With that being said, Anthony Edwards is going viral
Is that
on social
easy?
media for an alleged exchange he's had with an alleged baby mama or potential baby mama. And this woman can't do this. He responds saying, so now what? What a great response. Anthony Edwards says, get an abortion. She responded by saying, I had an abortion with my son around 2 years ago and I regret it every day, which is already like a very heavy statement to hear. I mean, a part of me wants to feel empathetic for the fact that this woman is repeating painful lifestyle decisions and falling into the same pattern over and over and over again. But Anthony Edwards' response to this is, wow. It sounds like he's like some sort of like Hoodville philosopher here, saying, man, you can't force a kid in the world. You don't know what it is yet. Which I'm trying to understand you don't know what it is yet is supposed to mean. The only conclusion I can come to is maybe Anthony Edwards is really like all the way to the far left. So he's saying you can't assume the gender of the child. But apart from that, I'm lost. So if someone else wants to translate it for me, let me know.
Nigga, you know what it mean, nigga.
The woman responds saying, that's not the point. I said I had an 2 years ago and I regret it. Anthony Edwards responded saying, yeah, but I don't want a kid. Which, by the way, man, again, on one hand, Anthony Edwards is really young. Young people make mistakes. I've made mistakes as well. Not this type of mistake, but man, this is a mistake that I can't ever forgive a young athlete for making. It's a story that's as old as the dawn of time. I mean, the amount of times I've made content on athletes being placed in this situation is nauseating. And you would think that they would look at these stories and say,
okay, well, how do I break the cycle? How do I make sure that I am not stuck?
And also, you know, it's easy to be like what I wouldn't do, you know, until you're actually in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the world at your fingertips. Of course, everybody online, everybody's going to be saying like, yeah, man, he's so damn stupid. I would never. But you're never going to be a multi-millionaire to that magnitude. I'm not saying, I'm just saying like in his shoes type shit. You a ball player. You the best player on your team. You a youngin'. You 22 years old with all this money, all this charisma, all this fame, all this endorsements. So you got access to any type of broad. You know. So I don't, you know. So when people say this shit, I take this shit with a grain of salt, cause, you know.
With an unwanted child with an unwanted partner.
But I guess in this situation, he didn't know better. Now, Anthony Edwards tries to do the right thing here, offering to pay her to get rid of the child. Anthony Edwards does kind of gaslight her, saying, I don't want kids, let's handle this like grown-ups. The woman saying, I'm not trying to force you to be a dad to a baby you don't want, I just don't like. That doesn't make me wrong. If you really don't want to do this, then fine, I won't. Edwards then says, just take the pills. And then she says, you don't care about no one but you. I mean, obviously, if he doesn't want this child, then yeah, he's looking out for his best interest. Anthony Edwards would then say, you got the money, what's the holdup? Because now you want to make a problem. She says, make what problem exactly? I've been nice this whole time. I don't want to bother you because I don't want to cause problems. I told you I would.
And they say that shit. She's saying that shit for dialogue to come back and forth. He already said exactly what he meant. He already let his intentions be clear. But she's texting back and shit. starting to play the game. She's reeling them in. You know what I'm saying? I'll be, man, yeah.
would because you want me to. So that's that you talking about a life, just be somewhat understanding. I told you I'll be home soon. Anthony Edwards then wants verification that she did this. He says, I want a video of the box with the right pills. And she says, what other pills would they be? And he just said, I'm just making sure. The wild part about this is 1 week later, she tries to engage him about this. And Anthony Edwards hits her with the, my attorney is going to handle it. And then she says, you said we're going to handle it ourselves. And then when I do my part, you turn away. She then mentions that his attorney doesn't respond, and she also shows how much money she got paid to get rid of the child. Which, man, I mean, this is a really crappy situation. I mean, getting caught on text pressing a woman to get rid of a child is not a good look, and I'm very conflicted.
Man, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's two parts to look at it, you know what I'm saying? But the whole situation is these athletes just need to be careful who they stick their dick in and, you know, going raw and all the other shit, man, you know. Because, you know, you never know what can happen, man. You just never know. Shit. But if y'all like the video, man, like the video. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about the situation at hand and what y'all feel about the athletes in general. These young athletes that steady making these mistakes. And also, it's the social media era. It's the peak of social media. Whenever you make a mistake and you got any type of status, it's going to be out there. Unless you picking motherfuckers off like Diddy. Nah, I'm just playing, but for real, though. We'll fuck with y'all on the next one. Yeah.